Hi and welcome or welcome back to The Books Are Everywhere. Please excuse my hair, I have not long been for a run and had a shower, so that's why my hair is wet. But I am here to welcome you to a very exciting video that I don't really know in which direction I am going to go with this video. And I thought it would be fun to have you guys along for the journey and kind of witness me trying to figure this out, because I have been trying to figure it out for weeks. But the premise of this video is I am going to America next week for the first time. Cannot believe it has crept up on us so quickly, but me and my boyfriend Mark are going to Utah next week for not that long. We're going for like 5 or 6 days. We also have a pretty insane flight where we are flying to Seattle first, which is overshooting and flying back, so our journeys are pretty crazy. Our flight to Seattle is about 12 hours I think, and then our flight back to Utah is like at least 2.5 hours I think, if I'm remembering correctly. And we also have a 5-hour layover in the middle because we are doing the connection ourselves and we need the extra time. So it's going to be a very intense journey, and we are also going to be doing it on hand luggage only. So for the entire 5-ish days we are there, I have this bag. So it's not really in my best interest to be taking a lot of books with me, and I'm actually going to be going with no physical books if I can help it, because I would like to bring one back and have a souvenir book for the trip. So I am going with no books. I am going with my Kindle. So I do have a Kindle. I don't know where it is right now and I do need to find it before we go. I was just looking for it to take a photo for the thumbnail of this video and I can't find it. So I have a feeling it might still be at my parents' house. Anyway, beside the point, I have a Kindle. I very rarely use my Kindle. My Kindle I mainly bought, and I bought it secondhand years ago, mainly bought it to be able to read NetGalley books more easier, whatever the word is. And I don't really use it because if you've been following me for a while, I'm not that vocal about this, but I don't support Amazon, or I at least try not to support Amazon. You probably do notice that I do watch stuff on Amazon Prime, which I use my brother's account for, but I haven't really bought anything from Amazon in a long time, and if I can help it, I don't use them. I do still use Goodreads, so I'm really not perfect with this, and I use a mixture of Goodreads and Storygraph, and I try not to promote Goodreads anymore. This is me being entirely transparent, but if I can help it and avoid Amazon, I do. However, I think it is really in my best interest, and it's the smartest thing to do, to take my Kindle. And that probably means buying a few Kindle books, because I could log into my brother's Amazon and use his Prime to get Kindle Unlimited. I think that's how Kindle Unlimited works. I might be wrong. I could do that, or I could just try and find some cheaper Kindle reads, which I think is what I'm going to try and do. And I'm just gonna like buy the Kindle books before I go, so I have my Kindle kind of stocked up. This is where this video comes in, because I don't know what to get. Like, I have a rough idea of what I want to read in the next few months, or the kind of vibe of book I want to read in the next few months. I don't really want to be buying things that I don't already own, so yeah, I'm probably going to be spending a couple of quid on each Kindle book to have a Kindle version when I already own it. But I do that with audiobooks a lot anyway, because I buy the audiobook even though I have the physical book, so I've accepted that, because I don't really want to be buying a lot if I already own it, because I'm just adding to my TBR and not getting through the books on these shelves if I do that. I hope that makes sense. However, I thought it would be fun to pick the TBR with you. So this is essentially going to be not necessarily a TBR, like it is a TBR for my trip, but I also have no idea what my reading is going to be like when we're away. I am relying heavily on my reading being on the flights and when we're waiting around in the airports, but I don't know what I'm going to be like. The longest flight I've ever done was about 4.5 hours to Greece or Madeira years ago. I've not done a long journey like this before ever, so I really don't know how I'm going to be, and I don't know if I'll even be able to focus on reading. Hopefully I will, but I don't imagine I'm going to be doing a whole lot of reading when we're actually there, because we'll be doing things and being active and also probably be really tired. So this is mainly for the flight. This is also more of like me setting up a choice, like a selection of things that I could choose from rather than a set TBR. So yeah, I'm going to create a selection and yeah, I'm going to try and read them. However, I'm not going to be holding myself to this like I would with a different TBR if I was doing a readathon or if I was doing TBR mini golf, which I do hope to bring back soon. But this is more of me curating a selection for my Kindle before I go. I'm going to try and be quite smart about creating a few different books on here, so I have something to pick from. But I do mainly want like easy reads. But I don't want to buy like a lot of short books that I'll finish quite quickly because that'll cost me more money. So I need a mixture, really, is what I'm thinking. To help me pick the books I'm going to read, I'm going to use the TBR tarot cards, which I have had for a while. I did use these once before for a video and it was so fun, but because I do TBR mini golf a lot, I don't tend to go back to these very often, and I thought it'd be nice while I haven't done TBR mini golf in a few months because of the move and everything. And I didn't do it this month partly because of this trip coming up, and I thought this would be a nice alternative instead. I thought I may use these because I really liked them when I used them before, and it just might help me actually focus and narrow down what I want to buy for my Kindle. So I'm going to pick a tarot card. We'll then have a prompt on these tarot cards, so they have prompts on each one just to give you a selection. Choose a book which has a person on the cover. We've got choose a book which begins with a prologue. Interesting. Choose a book which has a dedication to mom. I love how specific some of these are. So yeah, I'm going to choose, I don't know how many. I honestly don't know how many to do. Maybe 5. And find books that are related to those prompts to buy on my Kindle. And then I'll talk to you about them. So it's going to be a bit of a trial and error because as I said, I need to like look up how much the books would cost and decide which ones I'm going to get and things like that. It's probably going to be a case of looking through on Amazon and seeing which one I want to get. But let's just dive in. I'm sorry if this has been really rambly, but also if it's been confusing. But let's try, see. I don't know how best to do this. I'm going to find them out. Okay, I have this. I am going to choose to start with, if I can get it out, I want this one right here. It's very hard to do backwards. There we go. Here is the prompt. Choose a book which has a picture on the spine. That is so interesting. Okay. Let's go do that and we'll come back because I actually need to look up my shelves for that. So I'm going to go and look. Maybe pick a few. Don't know how best to do this, but I need to physically look at the shelves, so I'm gonna go over there. Okay, I wasn't quite sure how to take picture on a spine. I didn't know whether it meant like photo or if it meant graphic. So I've gone for these, which I think fits. This one has like a picture, or I think it's a painting, of flowers and leaves. This one has a flower with bees on it, and it does look, again, it looks very much like a picture, but I think it could be an illustration. And this one is also, again, flowers, but I think this, I mean, it's not a picture as in like a photo, but I think this works. So I'm gonna have a look at how much all of these cost and pick one based on that. Hopefully none of them are massive amounts of money, but this one is an adult fantasy. It's set in the, I think, 1950s, and it's set in Wisconsin, and it's about all women. There's a mass dragoning and they all turn into dragons. I've heard really good things. This one is a YA thriller, possibly horror, I think. Heard really good things about that too. This one is a Laura Wood historical mystery, I think. I love Laura Wood, so I'm excited for that one. Let's see. And pick one based on how much it costs. Right now our winner is When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill, which is £3.99, which is the cheapest. The other ones are like at least 5 or 6, and kind of 5 I think is my limit here. Don't want to be spending a lot of money on Kindle books to take with me. So this one's winning. I am going to quickly glance at my shelves and see if there is anything else that jumps out at me though. Okay, I found a better one. The Witch is Back by Sophie H. Morgan. This is a proof copy I have from the publisher, which is, it's under Mills and Boon. I did not know this was a Mills and Boon book. That's quite amazing. But it's also Harper, so thank you to Harper for sending this to me. It actually has a picture on the spine, so I don't think I can get better than this. This actually looks like a picture, like that you would hang up in like an oval frame, and it's 99p on Kindle, so I think we have a winner. It does say that it comes out in October, although it seems to be available on Amazon, so I'm not 100% sure on the release date. Okay, it looks like it comes out on October 12th in paperback, but I think the Kindle edition is already out by the looks of it. I hope. Yeah, came out in August on Kindle. But this one is a marriage of convenience. It has all of the tropes on the back. High society scheming in secret, enemies to lovers, spicy romance with plant magic, witches and warlocks, charming golden boy meets quick-witted introvert, meddling friendship group, so ugly it's cute. Love this. And the tagline on the front says, a magical contract, a family curse, spellbinding attraction. Love that that has an exclamation mark at the end. So yeah, I'm excited to pick this one up, and I feel like it fits the prompt perfectly and is kind of the vibe I'm going for September and October. Although flying over to Utah, it's going to be really hot there, so I don't know if I'll feel that autumnal. But maybe I'll read this on the way back, we'll see. Okay, so that was the first one for Choose a Book which has a picture on the spine. Let's choose the next prompt. I am obviously keeping When Women Were Dragons in my back pocket for possibly a different prompt. We will see. Okay, I'm going to go for that one if I can get it. This one here. It is Choose a Book which begins with a prologue. Okay. I guess this is going to take some like looking through different books to see if they have prologues or not. Seeing as this is still right here, let's have a look, see what it does. What do we count as a prologue? I don't really know. Like, does it have to be listed as a prologue? This one has a bit before the first chapter, and I'm going to count that as a prologue. It has like a letter and then another letter before chapter 1. I'm going to count that, but I will have a look on my shelf and see what else might have a prologue that I could be reading. I have a couple of other options. Neither of them are listed as prologues, but White Smoke has a preface and If We Were Villains has an introduction. Thought these both seemed quite autumnal. Got like dark academia and we've got like a horror. So let's see if we've got these three, When We Were Dragons, White Smoke and If We Were Villains. Let's see which one I go for. So When We Were Dragons is £3.99. If We Were Villains is £4.68 very specifically. And White Smoke, I think might be more. It's £4.99, so I guess we're reading When We Were Dragons. I can't think of another. I'll have another look at my shelves again. We'll see. Okay, I have searched and searched. Some books I found with prologues I really didn't expect, like Love Theoretically by Ellie Hazelwood. Was very tempted by that, but it was over £5 on Kindle. And then some that I really thought would have a prologue, like short story collections, don't seem to, and just seem to go straight into the first story. So I have come back to When We Were Dragons, which I'm happy with. So we'll see. There was other choices on there. A couple did actually have it listed as a prologue, but yeah, I've come back to that one for now. That is the choice. So far we have The Witch is Back and we have When We Were Dragons, and I'm going to choose the third book. Okay, here's the cards. Now over here this time. Going to go for this one. Choose a book which is the biggest one on your shelf. You can do it. Okay. We'll choose one of the biggest ones on my shelf, I think. Maybe not quite the biggest, although I think it's a good thing to have a big book on my Kindle, because it will take me longer to get through. So we will see. I'm going to go to my physical TBR and I'm going to sort it by page number. I don't really know what the biggest books on my TBR are right now, but we'll find out. Okay, A Day of Fallen Night. That's a bold move. The Kindle edition of that is £9. Then we have Chain of Thorns, which I can't read. Then we have The Dark Vault by V. Schwab. That's a possibility. It's £4.31 on Kindle. I could do that. June is one of the big ones. Let's see how much that is. £5.49. Okay, this is the third biggest book on my TBR, but it's up there enough that I feel like it's acceptable. This is, I think, technically 2 books in one, and the collected, yeah, so it's the archived and the unbound, and it's apparently nearly 700 pages. Yeah, it's 692 without the acknowledgements, so it's quite a big book, but I feel like this is not a bad choice. We will see. I think it's YA, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get through. I really don't know what this is about, so let's read the synopsis together. It says, imagine a place where the dead rest on shelves like books. Each body has a story to tell, a life seen in pictures only librarians can read. The dead are called histories, and the vast realm in which they rest is the archive. Mackenzie Bishop's grandfather first brought her here 4 years ago when she was 12 years old, frightened but determined to prove herself. Now her grandfather is dead, and Mac has grown into what he once was, a ruthless keeper, tasked with stopping often violent histories from waking up and getting out. Because of her job, she lies to the people she loves, and she knows fear for what it is, a useful tool for staying alive. Follow Mackenzie as she explores the boundary between the living and dying, sleeping and waking through these 2 timeless novels now bound together in this thrilling collection. So yeah, this one is my third book. Really not what I expected to be reading on this trip, but happy to add it to the TBR and get one of the biggest books on my TBR read. Why not? Okay, that one was easy. It didn't take me as long to choose a book. Let's see what the next one is. Here is the selection. I am going to go for this one because it's kind of hiding under here. Let's see what this one is. It's choose a book whose title starts with a number. Oh God, do I even have one of those? Title starts with a number. Like One of Us is Lying. One of Us is Back is a possibility. That's still $7.99 on Kindle, unsurprisingly. Let me have a look on my TBR and see what comes up for this one. Okay, I looked through all of the standalones on my physical TBR. Did have a few possibilities like 16 Souls and One of Us is Back, as I said. Sure, there was another that I've already forgotten, but the one I've settled on is 450 from Paddington by Agatha Christie. Why not having an Agatha Christie on here? I don't know what this book is about. I can only assume that it is set on a train that leaves at 4:50 from Paddington, and I presume that it is a murder on this train. The Kindle edition is only $2.99, which obviously was my what swayed it for me. It's a classic Marple mystery. I think this might be my first Marple, which is really exciting. It says, for an instant, the 2 trains ran together side by side. In that frozen moment, Elspeth, what a name, witnessed a murder. Helplessly, she stared out of the carriage window as a man remorselessly tightened his grip around a woman's throat. The body crumpled, the other train drew away. But who, apart from Miss Marple, would take her story seriously? After all, there were no other suspects, no other witnesses, and no corpse. That's exciting. I am really glad to be adding that to my TBR. Why not? Okay, let's choose the fifth and final book. I feel like this video has been going on forever. I hope it hasn't felt that way to you. But the last one, gonna go, don't know, I'm drawn to this side for some reason. Let's go for this one. Choose a book that still has the shop sticker on the front. Oh god. That one is quite an awkward one because I don't keep stickers on them. And I don't really want to look through all of them on my shelf. You know what, I'm going to give myself a pass for that one and choose another one because I don't want to look through every single book on my shelf and check whether they have a sticker on. The only ones I can think that would be like special signed editions. Sometimes, like very occasionally, I'll keep the signed edition sticker on the front, but if it's been designed specifically for that book, like they did them for Alice Oseman and they did it for Empire of the Vampire. Other than that, I cannot think of a book that would have a sticker on because I do take them off immediately. So we're going to choose another one. I'm going to go for this one here. Choose a book which has a person's name in the title. Interesting. I guess we'll look through my TBR again. Possibilities so far because I'm losing track. Ariadne, Imogen obviously, the other Edie Trimmer, and another one I just saw, Julieta and the Romeos. Right now, I think Imogen obviously is coming out on top in terms of it not being really expensive, but I'm gonna see if I can find anything else to check. Honestly, there was more here than I thought. I was like, this is a difficult brand, but it's not too bad. I Kiss Shara Wheeler has also come up as a possibility, and Sadie and Her Shadow Beasts, but that is in middle grade, same as Edie Trimmer, so I'm a little more hesitant to read those because I know I'll get through them really quickly. We've also got Clementine and Danny Save the World and Each Other, but that one's quite an expensive Kindle book. Okay, we're between Imogen Obviously and I Kiss Shara Wheeler. I think I'm going to go for Imogen Obviously, only because I was at a book club the other day and somebody recommended this. So I feel like it will be a good one to choose. I don't really know what it's about, but it's Becky Albertalli, and I got this proof from the publisher, so thank you again to HarperCollins for sending this one to me. I haven't read a Becky Albertalli book in a long time. I think the last one I read was Yes, No, Maybe So when it came out, but I did really enjoy it still. I love the US cover of this. Maybe if I love it and I find it in the US, I could bring that back as my souvenir, but we'll see. This is about Imogen Scott, who, unsurprisingly, who may be hopelessly heterosexual, but she's got the world's greatest ally title locked down, and then when she visits her best friend Lily, newly out and thriving with a cool squad of queer friends at college, Imogen brings her ally A-game, even if that means bending the truth just a little. Like when Lily drops a tiny queer bombshell, she's told all of her college friends that she and Imogen used to date, and none of them know that Imogen is a raging hetero, not even Lily's new friend Tessa. Of course, the more time Imogen spends with chaotic, freckle-faced Tessa, the more she starts to wonder if her truth was ever all that straight to begin with. That sounds like it has a really good premise. I'm very excited to pick this one up, finally. As I said, it's been ages since I read a Becky Albertalli book. I kind of skipped Katie in Waiting because I felt like that was the point where it felt like maybe I was a little too old for Becky Albertalli now, but then this one came out and I was like, oh, I really like the look of this one and I love the US cover. Not this one so much, but we'll see how this one goes. Okay, this is not the TBR that I expected to have, but I'm not mad about it. So we have, very randomly, The Witch is Back, which is more what I was going for at the start of the TBR, and it's choose a book which has a picture on the spine. It's got my little picture. We also have choose a book which is the biggest one on your shelf, which was this one. Choose a book which begins with a prologue, which is this one. Choose a book which title starts with a number. I got 450 from Paddington, and a person's name in the title, Imogen, obviously. So yeah, I probably will have a look, try and add a couple more into my TBR for America, just so I have a few more than that if I want them, but I guess I can always buy more on my travels if I can connect to Wi-Fi. So we'll see how it goes, but there is a selection of books that I can add to my Kindle before we go and read them, hopefully. I guess check out my end of the month wrap up to see whether I did actually read these or how many I did read off this TBR. But I hope you've enjoyed this video all the same, and it was a fun one to do, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.